You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, my dogs. You know, I brought all my dogs with me today. I make sure none of my dogs get eaten by anybody and all that. What's poppin', dog? How you feeling today, Berk?
I didn't know where you were going with that, buddy.
I knew it was Berk Dog for sure.
I was waiting for it too.
I wasn't sure.
It was Berk Dog.
It just makes Guapo's life hard. You want to get that chair out of your shot? You know, we're running an operation here. You know, there we go.
All right, we had a production guy, but I don't know what he was doing.
We did bring.
I do nothing.
Somehow
it just gets back to Guapo's fault.
I just come in. I just twiddle my thumbs.
He did stand up, walk over to turn
your weekend warrior at the last minute because I'm not
poor
that guy.
One day he's gonna leave us, and we're gonna know why.
Of course.
There were more than 13 reasons 100%. For this.
He did stand up and walk towards the air conditioner, which I thought was going to lead to him turning it off, but I'm just still cold.
I'm comfortable. I don't want it to get any colder or hotter in here.
You see this, Guapo? You can never win. You know, somebody's cold.
I had to hold up my sign for my people.
Well,
wow.
Oh my God. Plus 118.
It just keeps getting better and better, and I already put down a ginormous bet.
What did you
How
bet?
high does it have to go?
110.
No, I know you said you put a very large wager on this match.
On this woman.
On this woman. And you said, no, I'm not going to put any more on. How high does it have to go before you break that?
I think at this point I kind of have to
at
put
118.
More on.
We're there.
I mean, if I'm this confident about it,
it's 30 points the other way. It feels like he has to, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I do think you have one thing working for you 100% that has nothing to do with like fighting. It's the fact that
here comes the punchline.
No, this draws eyes. This fight draws eyes. And when it comes to women's fight, this fight draws eyes. And they have Grasso 1-1.
Yep. They tied the second.
They tied the second. Shevchenko wins this one. They have a super fight.
Yeah.
So,
is there any? This just shows how not sharp I am. Is there any ARB opportunity for you since the line moved so much?
Not that he's.
Well, I mean,
playing.
No, it moved the wrong way for him. Yeah.
He
can't
minus.
bet the other side now and get a worse price.
Like, he's got minus, then he would be betting on more minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it moved the other way, of course.
No, but he could lay the wood more. I mean, this is an ARB opportunity, but if he thinks it was a good bet at plus or minus 105, he certainly thinks it's a good bet.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked him if you would add to it.
Well, he would just be doubling down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I corrected. I said it's not an ARB opportunity, but it seems like a good money-making opportunity if you're so confident. Guap.
It's kind of funny.
You need an advance?
The thing is I already put, for me, a pretty big wager on this.
Okay, well, you need an advance?
Have to put more.
You're just trying to keep him in these four walls.
I just want my guy to get the best of it.
I want my dogs to eat.
So I'm thinking about betting. I'm thinking about putting some money down, but I want to get Conrad's take first.
I think Shevchenko wins.
Oh, no.
It's an easy one.
Oh, no.
It's an easy one.
I'm out. I'm not touching it.
Resident sharp Conrad Simpson.
No, I don't know anything about women's fighting.
I'm excited for this weekend. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to go on a tangent about UFC, but it's going to be at the Sphere. It's never been done before.
It's at the Sphere?
It's going to be at the Sphere, yeah.
See,
really?
What you should do, if you are so confident in Shevchenko winning, you should just buy tickets for the Sphere.
Yeah.
It's like $3,000 a pop.
Yeah, I heard tickets are outrageous.
They are, but if she wins,
that's if you want to sit like in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, they're a lot. But it's probably going to be one of the best.
The nosebleeds won't matter because the entire fight will be on the ceiling.
That would be cool.
See, I don't know how they're going to utilize the.
He said it the other day.
Oh, and they're going to show it on the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It sounds like free money to me.
Walkouts and all that good stuff. It's going to be popping. I think I've been to the Sphere and I know what it looks like.
You've been to the what?
The Sphere?
The Spear.
Spear?
I think he said Spear.
Definitely said Spear, but okay.
You guys can all go fuck yourselves, all right?
Special event at the Spear.
And like, it's gonna be awesome no matter
should not
what.
make fun of
We really should
Conrad's
have,
disability.
Yeah,
an
you should not
episode.
make fun of my disability. What are you laughing about? I have a speech impediment.
You have a fucking brain impediment.
I'm just
It's more
surprised
like
he was
a-
able to say speech impediment.
It's like a voluntary speech impediment.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
for sure.
But yeah, it's gonna be popping in
the
there.
Sphere.
It's probably definitely worth the dollars. I mean, you'll never see a sporting event like that.
I think if you're a big UFC fan, this is a one-of-one opportunity.
The
But
Sphere's that
Yeah,
cool.
it doesn't sound like Dana
Yes.
wants to do it again. It was very expensive.
yeah, and it doesn't seem very practical either.
Yeah.
Like everything I've heard about the Sphere being a sports arena type of setup, it doesn't seem like it's really
Built
custom for that. Yeah. I did hear that they may bring basketball there at some point. Not like long term, but like a game. Maybe the All-Star game. I don't know, but it seems like a reach.
Well, how many?
It doesn't
seats-
seat that
how
many,
it would
right?
probably be the
It's like
champion.
20,000 seats.
It would probably be the championship to the in-game in-season tournament.
Oh yeah. That would actually be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Aren't there other fights going on this week? They're like really
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
huge
Canelo,
matchup.
Canelo
It's-
is fighting Berlanga.
It's Berkey versus myself in fantasy football.
Oh shit!
Oh, I play you
At
this
the
week.
Sphere.
Yeah, and I don't understand.
What's up, Berkey?
Maybe I'm missing something. I had the 8th, I think, priority waiver.
Yeah.
How the hell did I end up with Mason? How did I get him? How did nobody take him before me? I saw
Can
you.
we
I
get
noticed.
can we get a second name?
Wait.
Who's Mason? Mason Rudolph?
Well, there we go. So if the fact that he doesn't know, the running back for the 49ers, Jordan Mason.
Oh, well, yeah, fair. I personally didn't.
I
think
saw you
that-
took Likely, which was surprising to me because you already had Pitts.
Did I send you?
Yeah, but I can flex him, and I need a handcuff.
He put in some
Yeah, but
pretty bad waiver wires the other day. Emmitt Smith, fucking Zeke.
Yeah, you're not
Zeke
gonna,
was
you're
the
really
lowest
gonna
on my
flex.
priority.
You're really gonna flex him over other like players on your.
Probably not, but I can.
I know. but,
Okay,
like,
hold on, Brian. Did you win week 1?
Yeah, he smashed.
Yeah, I beat everybody. I literally had the highest points in the league.
I think Likely's a great pickup no matter what.
Yeah, I just think he's valuable.
I don't think Likely is a bad pickup. I'm not saying he is. I think Mason, especially if you already have Pitts on your team, I would have prioritized him, especially since like they don't know the extent of McCaffrey's injury. Obviously, Mitchell's on the IR, so it's like
It sounds like you're cooking, Brian.
yeah. I'm just saying that like he it just seems that like he could be super valuable for your team. But I'm happy to have him.
GM Brian Lamana here, everybody.
My mistake was that I meant to prioritize Dobbins.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't get. Well, he was probably the number one.
Yeah.
And I think
I might
he
have
went
actually,
right away.
I was gonna
Sarah
say
got
I
him.
may have actually prioritized him, and then
I'm
Likely
sure. Yeah,
second.
yeah, probably did. I had him on there too. Sarah.
He's got everybody.
No, I don't. I didn't have him. I had him on my. I put a claim in for him.
But
I
you're
didn't,
8th.
I didn't get him because I was 8th. I was surprised that I got Mason. So.
Why were you 8th?
Why was I 8th? Because I don't know.
You got an
I
early
was
draft.
eighth.
You got an early draft pick.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was
He
second.
Drafted
I drafted
fourth.
second.
Oh.
I drafted second, and then
Oh yeah.
How many teams are in your league?
somebody must have. There's 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I
If
should
you
be
draft
ninth. I should be
second-
ninth, but I think maybe if the first week of waivers,
maybe, yeah,
probably
sorry.
somebody.
Oh,
behind
sorry.
me took
I
it.
was thinking.
This was first.
I was thinking reverse order. So you were next to last on the waiver wires, and
Right.
it fell all the way to you.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a surprise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was second overall.
Yeah, you were. You had second overall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sarah was first.
Sarah's first. She got Dobbins.
Enough of that. I don't care. It's a $60 league
Special
where
teams.
It's not
Special
about
players,
the.
special
It's not
players.
about the money.
all that matters is pride in this instance.
Exactly. And
What I do care about is
Rightful.
I woke up with the sudden desire to just head for the hills. Walked outside.
There's fire in the
Yeah, you don't
hills.
wanna do that.
I don't think you want to head to the hills.
Walked outside, took a deep breath, and I said, God damn it,
Yeah, don't
boys,
do
we're
it."
camping this week. It smells like a nice campfire.
It's nice.
Guapo thought I
It's
left.
not nice.
Guapo
It's
thought I
not
left the
nice.
smoker
It's fucking
on.
awful. Yeah.
I know. I left my door up. I let my dogs out, and I let every time I say dog, I just like I let them out, and I had the door open for not longer than like 2 minutes. Michelle comes downstairs. She's like, what's burning? That's outside. Let me close the door real quick.
I literally walked outside
California.
this morning, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on? I walked around the corner to check if the pool heater was burning or on fire. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Well, like the winds have come in. There's literally ash falling onto Las Vegas.
Yeah.
How bougie did you guys all grow up that you walked outside and smelled the fresh scent of pine on fire and thought to yourself, man, I hope the pool heater's not burning. Like,
I didn't know what the
where
fuck
the
could
fuck
be burning.
did you grow up? You don't know what the smell of wood is?
I mean,
It smells so sweet. God, I really
stuff
want to
like
go
this
camping.
doesn't scare you.
why?
Why would it scare you?
It says any exposure just to going outside and just breathing.
I was hanging out
It's
outside
bad.
this morning. I thought it was great.
It's bad, and Berkey wants to turn off the air conditioner, and our nice filtered air is now going to be, we're going to be sucking in ash.
This is you guys are
you're cold.
Listen, this is as much FUD as I fucking watched in the 2-hour-long debate last night.
I don't know if it is, man. I really, I mean,
Yeah, should you go head first into a burning forest and inhale? No.
but I mean, when you're outside, when you walk outside, you could literally smell it and breathe it. Like that can't be good for you.
It's not going to be that bad. Have you ever been around a campfire?
We're
Jesus,
400
it's
miles
not the same
way
thing,
different than
dude.
being
Of
around a
course it is.
campfire.
We're 400 miles away from where it's actually burning.
Famous last words.
But all the ash is literally falling on.
Yeah. Well, when you're in front of a campfire, there's ash.
Yeah.
You're going to
Stay
be
hard.
just
Stay
fine.
hard.
Listen, I'm
Men used to go to war.
I know. Listen,
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
This is our war.
I'm not
This
panicking
is
over
our
here. I did leave the house today. I wasn't like I'm going to lock myself in my house.
Yeah, but you panically left the house.
I got to tell you.
Did you hold your breath
I've
walking
been
to
with
the
this
car?
group now through a lot of ups and downs. We've been through a pandemic together.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through all of the craziness of the world.
RJL.
And I tell you, I mean this with all my heart. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I can't pick 4 people that I would rather not have on my team.
Valid. I don't blame
I'm
you.
making it
I'll
out.
take me and Pip, and we'll fucking ride and pray for the best.
You'll do
I think-
nothing.
I think Guapo-
I think you want
100%
Guapo.
making it out.
Guapo would be bubble wrapping everything to make sure that
How are they going to get
like,
in?
if we survive,
And guess
everything's
what?
still
We would
intact.
fucking live.
Oh my
And it would
God.
be because of me.
I'm dying.
Motherfucker's scared of his shadow. I'm trying to hide in the woods, light some shit on fire, and make sure that we get out of it.
It's literally Survivor fantasy.
Oh Christ!
You can be the guy that hunts stuff, and then I'll weave baskets and like make sure the campfire and the
Yeah.
place is nice and clean.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever
that I can
whatever
go
you
for.
hunt and kill and bring back, I'll cook it for you.
Okay.
We
All right.
have to, the problem
Make sure there's no ash
The
anywhere. If
real
there's-
problem is we have to kill Landon immediately.
Yeah.
He
We're
eats
gonna
way
eat
too
Landon.
much.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
If there's
we just
any
can't-
ash,
He made a solid case. I was about to say he's deflecting because he realizes that he's up for
No
for,
way. Well,
he's
for
next.
Yeah,
No way, I can do anything.
but he did make a
yeah,
solid.
but you don't do
He
anything.
just-
No, but yeah,
I can
you don't do anything is the thing.
I can do anything, but I do not do
But all
anything.
you
Landon
do
does
is
look
eat,
a little
so
tasty.
you know, you gotta go.
You do eat a lot. It's tough, especially if we're gonna keep the dogs. If it comes down to
We
the
eat
dogs,
them
or
dogs
you.
around here now.
And he's the youngest. He's the youngest. It'd be like eating veal.
I would be indispensable.
tender.
I would make myself just. You couldn't get rid of me. You couldn't get rid of me. I'd be an asset.
Bro would be,
I kill zombies.
he'd be stealing blankets from the Goodwill. He'd be like, look, I got all these things.
I've been training
Doing
for
great.
this for years.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I've been hoarding. All right, let's get to a little bit of poker talk. Pogo Studios popped off yesterday. Poker Masters is underway, and there's a fun few stories actually emerging from the first event, which usually, I got to tell you, the 5K is usually good, obviously,
Great.
but not to the degree where it's like newsworthy. I don't think. Usually, it's just like, you know, the same 100 guys that we see time and time again, and one of them wins it, and then we move on with our life. And since that one person isn't going to be Landon, I was ready to move on quite quickly. However, they gave us a little bit to talk about. So first and foremost, Jesse Lonis, the GOAT, the vanilla gorilla, if you will. I really hope that's not self-proclaimed because it makes it so much better if it's not.
It's not. I told you, it's art.
Oh, right. That's the same as nicknaming yourself, though. Art's very zany. He had a side bet with Ren Len on 131 entries. And wait, was it 131 or 132?
132.
Well, you know what? Just play the video. I don't need to talk for him.
$1,000 bet with Ren Lin, and we set the line at 132, and there was 131 people in. And if I bought in, I would have lost a 10K bet, so it would have cost me like $15,000 to buy in. So we have to sit it out today, and we're still gonna win the jacket. I played, not my bottom game was a 5K. There's a lot of people entering. I want them to come back to the studio, so we give a little bit. It's a little charity. So.
Game plan for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're gonna win. We're gonna be at the final table for sure. So, feeling good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Boom.
Nick. Little timestamp, bro. Get a little head start here, and I wouldn't want to do that.
I have to tell you,
I wouldn't want to do that.
a few things about this. One, I'm very surprised he doesn't think his ROI is greater than 200% in a 5K.
It's charity that he didn't re-enter.
Right.
Sure.
Two, I would pay a hefty sum to have his level of confidence in fucking tournaments of all things. I don't have his level of confidence in a game where the blinds don't change, let alone one where you're going to be forced all in at some point in time throughout the course of the day.
I don't have confidence in anything anymore.
Look at him just staring at me.
I'm staring at you. I'm just staring like into the void.
Maybe we get you cleaned up a little bit, get you a new wardrobe, get you feeling a little fresh, turn you into the vanilla gorilla.
I like this outfit. I'm vibing.
We know.
He'll never be the
We know
vanilla
you
gorilla.
like that outfit.
You're currently a pink pony girl, and we need you to.
I like this outfit. It's fine.
I think our outfits go well together.
They do actually. Pink pony girl adjacent. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's like to win as much as Jesse, to be quite frank, in a game where you're just not supposed to win this goddamn much. But
and you never will.
it looks good on him, cuz.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Mhm.
Would love to see you in that I mean, you've had a good year.
I've had a great year, man.
You've had a great
career
year.
year for me.
Except during the World Series.
Yeah.
When it counted.
That was not.
And the Tesla one-outer.
Yeah, the Tesla didn't go well.
Tesla Gate. We're still in talks about Tesla Gate.
Yeah. You've had a great year, but it's still up and down. You got your swings.
Yeah.
It always will be.
Yeah.
No,
That's true. Well,
It's the
not,
life we've chosen.
not if you're Lonus.
Wow. Yeah, he's up only.
Yeah, got to be up like that. Conrad mentioned Timestamp Bro, the artist formerly known as, has continued his run. He's also having a career year.
Crushing it.
Final table of the 5K. There are 6 remaining. Let's see. I need to make this bigger because I'm old. How do I make this window bigger?
Guapo
All right, there
got
we
it.
go. Guapo got it. Spencer Champlin comes in as the chip leader, 2.3 million.
No, he doesn't.
Do we know what the blinds are?
Veer Lange
He's not the
chip
chip
leader.
leader. Jessica's
Oh.
chip leader.
Oh shit! Oh,
It's
he's not
just
even
the
close.
It's the
It's the
seat
seating
draw.
order.
Oh, it's the seat order.
Okay.
I see. Okay, so
Step-
160K up top.
Step 1, read some numbers.
160K up top. Do we know what the blinds are coming? Oh, 100K big blind. All right. So Spencer Champlin comes in 23 big blinds. Seward has 14 big blinds. Jessica Verling, really another side story coming out of this. She comes in as a chip leader with 58 bigs. Zachary Gretsch, 11 blinds. Dylan Lindy, 41 blinds. He's second in chips. And then Dan Shack rounds it out with 15 big blinds.
Couple of goats.
Nobody's super short. Nobody's super deep. 58 big blinds for a chip lead here is probably relatively standard, I would think. in
Seems
this
like a lot. In the 30-minute level,
Yeah, these tournaments are pretty fast, right?
very fast.
They're very fast, but I'm basically saying that it's probably on par because nobody's like sub 10. Right?
No.
Like they just seem to have gotten here pretty quickly.
I was going to say that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
They probably just got to the final table.
Yeah, people were concerned with how late it was going to go just because of how many entries it got. Like 131 is like a huge number.
Really?
Could have been 132, but you know.
Right.
Yeah, so people thought it was going to end later than it did, but it didn't, which is nice for them.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So the story with Jessica is that you guys can fill me in a little bit more about this.
She won a Saudi.
Yeah, well, no, I know that part, but you mentioned this morning that at one point Kessler was coaching her, I guess?
I think Kessler, they're they're in talks. Like he had a student or something along those lines. Like
Okay.
a couple years ago, even.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is COVID time.
I remember seeing a tweet.
Okay.
She was selling to something, and then Kessler vouched for it. Like I work with, like I know who this is. Like she's good at poker.
Right.
That's it. That's the fullest extent of what I got for you.
Okay. Hey,
all.
that's more than nothing. This is.
She won the whatchamacallit also. She won the
in LA.
the last commerce event.
The main, I think.
Or what is
Like a
it?
1700 main.
Yeah,
I remember that. We covered that.
Yeah, we
was
did.
it? Was
the
it
California
the?
Poker Championship?
No, it was whatever
it the
GG
circuit?
covered.
The
Because
circuit.
it was
the circuit main.
yeah, because it was
Didn't
Brent
she
and-
spin from like no fucking chips? Oh no!
No, she came in late. Yeah, she came in
yeah.
late, and then she won it.
Yeah, she came
She was
late
chip
to the
leader, I
final
think.
table. I don't know if she was chip leader or not, but she was late to the final table. She came in like late, like,
Yeah, like an hour
half
and
a
a half
level
or something.
later, a full level later, or something like that. She ended up spinning it and winning it.
Women, like, they destroyed that series, right? Wasn't there like 3 or 4 wins or something?
Yeah,
like-
they had a relatively good
Yeah.
series, the
There it
circuit
is.
series.
Commerce main event winner.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's such a good feeling. I've done that once where I missed the
Won a
the
tournament.
No. I missed the restart time.
I've done that once.
I missed the restart time of a day 2. It was the 3K6 Max in 2013, and I had piles, so like I was like top 3 in chips coming into the day anyway.
You had walking chips.
Yeah, but I missed the restart time, and I came in like 45 minutes late into the level. And Mercier was to my right. He's like, "Oh, thanks for joining us. How rich are you?" Like, buddy, I thought I was early.
Yeah.
And I got 9s the very first hand and like cold 4-bet. And I was like, well, looks like I'm even.
Yeah. You had to get him back somehow.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
she's about to spin up. How much was her satellite?
the
Maybe like
milestones I.
$500?
500, and I don't think it was a
Yeah.
milestone.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought they only ran milestones.
So I think it's Win that only runs milestones. I think Aria did try it for the past series they had, but I do not think this one was a milestone. I looked at the satellite sheet and I did not see milestone.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
Well, they might
potentially
call it
she's
something
spinning up a
different.
$500
Yeah,
1K
right.
seat.
Almost certainly $500.
I looked
What's,
at it.
what's up top?
160.
160.
And you're guaranteed what?
32.
Okay, so
Wow, good for her.
pretty
That's
good
awesome.
so far. And she's chip leader, so she's most likely going to.
The ROI is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. Unfortunately for her,
60x
she's got
right
the
now.
C word to deal with.
This is true.
C word.
timestamp, bro.
Okay. TSB he's in there. He's in the mix. He's got 23 big. No,
No,
he
he's
doesn't.
14
He has
big
14
blinds.
big blinds.
It's enough.
14 big blinds in the worst seat position with her immediately to his left. But he's
ready to gamble.
not ready to gamble.
Vamos la Pantera.
He's not ready to gamble. If I know anything
love
about
that.
C word, he's not ready to gamble at all.
He's.
But-
Yeah, you look down at jacks and you're like, I'm going to gamble that this hand was going to lose and fold.
The reverse gamble.
That is a big gamble right there. I hope that it keeps going this way. Honestly, like I like caring about what happens at PokerGo, and I often don't. And
As someone who knows how fast structures are and the way things work.
well, it's not that. Yeah, of course, I don't care about the tournament aspect of it that much, but I often don't pay much attention because it's who I expect it to be, right? Like the Lonis stories and Seward now, Coleman having
Seward
a big
wins
year.
too much. No,
Like Coleman having a big year, Jessica like popping out of the blue. These are nice stories to follow. It's not just Chidwick every fucking final table, and that's not to downplay Chidwick. Like God bless him for being as good as he is. But it's just like if Chidwick's getting a final table of 5K, I can't care. Like when I'm paying attention to 100K, now I care.
it's more like an expected thing, like one of the greatest poker players of all time at another final table.
Well, when I tune into 100K, I know that the final table is going to be full of the best. And now it becomes a matter of, or a conversation of like, well, who's going to make it this time? Who am I going to get to see featured kind of thing?
I feel like the fast structure allows for like events like this to happen where like.
Well, particularly with the bigger fields.
Right.
Yeah.
You get a little bit bigger field and you get a fast structure and then you get some like, dark horses
Yeah.
at the final table, which is cool to see. And it's, Poker Masters is great because it's like they're doing like the golf thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it's, you get the purple jacket is very prestigious. So Nowhere else can you get a purple jacket, right?
I wonder what the likelihood of somebody that isn't, let's call it top 20 all-time money winner, having a shot at winning the purple jacket.
Well, if you look,
I can think of like maybe 3 or 4 guys that qualify, like Lonis, Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is going to play 100K?
I mean,
Do they have it on? Well, there's
Isn't
no
the Masters?
No,
What's the main?
the 25K.
No way.
I think so.
No way.
I think so.
It's that small?
Good check, yeah.
See if
How
you can
far
pull-
we've come where it's like 25K. It's that small.
See if you.
I got it.
I really feel like that's not the case. I don't think that they run.
I think there's like 5K.
I think the 4 major
Conrad's
series
on it.
always have multiple 25Ks, 50Ks,
I
and
think
100K.
it's just 5K, 10K, 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 15 or another.
I mean, you
10K,
would know, you're
15K,
playing them all.
25K. I think it's a 25K main, yeah.
Okay, that's. I actually really like that, to be honest. It dissuades some of the top 20, so to speak, to play.
It's from the 10th to the 17th, right?
It is a
There we go. 10K, 10K.
yeah. There's 25K.
And that's
They have
the
100K PLO at the end of the series.
okay. So there's only one 25K.
It's the PLO
Yeah, I mean,
Super High
this
Roller
is-
Bowl. Yeah, they have like a new series or whatever.
Oh yeah, this is all PLO that you're getting into
This is
now,
October, yeah.
Yeah.
right? So the actual
25K
main
is-
event
yeah, it's 25.
is right here,
25K.
the 18th.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize they made this change.
That's dope.
I was of the impression that what are the 4 series they run? The Masters,
U.S. Poker Open.
U.S. Poker Open,
Poker Go Cup.
Poker Go. Well, is that a series or is that the?
That was in January.
Oh, okay, and that's the culmination of the point total, right? Like that's where you could
Get the free roll.
still potentially win your way into the free roll,
And then
and
they
they
have,
run
like-
the free roll at the end.
I think they have like the Super High Roller Series, which was in Cyprus.
Right.
I don't know
Okay.
if that counts as one of the 4, but
No, definitely.
probably because they had
It
Super High
counts for the
Roller Bowl
points.
there.
Yeah, it counts for
So
the
they have like
points.
those 4 things. So that's what they are.
Okay, so in studio it's basically 3
I
series.
think that they've like lowered the bigger
The thresholds,
fines away.
right.
Well, because what would happen before to a degree is someone would win the 5K and even like potentially win the 10K and still not win
That's
the
what I was-
jacket.
yeah,
because
that's
the
what I was saying.
points
They're
are
like
so
drawing-
high for the bigger
Right,
events.
they're like drawing dead if they're not playing the 100K.
Right.
That was what I was implying.
right.
I think this is a great change. I think this is fantastic. It's kind of the fact that like I wasn't aware of it is bad
Well,
because it means
you
that
didn't
like
care for a while.
no, but what I'm saying is that it means that like the average mid-stakes grinder probably also doesn't know.
It's like, why would I even like try to play these early ones if I
Yeah.
can never win the bonus? Because there's a 25K bonus
Right.
for winning the jacket.
Yeah.
You also got a 5K for an APT seat. Pretty sure.
Yeah, so you get more free money or whatever.
Yeah.
But if there's 50Ks and 100Ks, the people that win those are going to
Correct.
get the money.
Yeah, this is a great series because I think it's a price point where like you get some of the local guys that are in that top 20 money winners all time. Like Dan Smith's going to be there.
He was
Chidwick's
there.
probably going to be there. Foxen will be there. Ike will be there, of course. But you're not going to see the whole gauntlet. You know, you're not going to have to play Makita and all the Euros that are excellent at the game as well.
It's not a Triton event.
Correct.
It is. Yeah, it is kind of interesting in that way, I guess. Where
The
like,
better blend.
the best like players in the world, so to speak, are also busy living lives as humans and not just poker players
Well,
anymore.
because there was that period of time where like these series were all built around 100K buy-ins, 200K buy-ins, 50K plus buy. You know what I mean? Like I remember when
Like Kerry won the 100K for 1 point whatever million a couple
right.
years ago
Yeah.
for the Masters. Like if he won the 100K, he gets to win the jacket.
Yeah, I remember when the entry point for this was a 10K, and they would only run like one 10K. Now it's a 5K, and they have a bunch of 10. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not that I'm gonna get down there, but this is something that like I could set my sights on if I really chose.
Yeah,
It's
like
only like 100K worth of buy-ins total.
In January, correct. In January, they ran a 5K at the start as well. So I think that they're starting now at that 5K and then going like 10s and then 15s and ending with 25s.
We saw you know, not a resident grinder, he's from Florida, but like you know, a guy who's been grinding for years come out and he had an excellent series in Justin Zaki. So like he wasn't a guy that you were often going to see in the studio otherwise, but the price point got to a degree where he actually could be a viable threat.
Go
ahead.
I don't know if that's true. Justin plays a lot of the 10 and 25Ks.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
That's the
my
point.
point.
Like if there was an 100K main or whatever, where that's whoever wins
If
that
there
wins the
if
cup.
there were 3 events 25K and below, and then 7 events that were 50K and above, he wasn't going to come.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, there was a lot of that stuff a couple years ago, like the Ali Reign of Terror, when he was like winning like 50K, 100K.
Yeah, exactly. That, and in my mind, that's what I still remember.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They moved it down a good amount, which is nice.
Coincidentally, this is where it began. People don't remember, but before the studio existed, these high rollers, like 2015, 2016-ish, there was a 25K every weekend.
Yeah.
I heard those are like unbelievable.
Two 25K. I won one.
I was gonna say, you won one.
Berkey won one of those.
I fucking chopped 3-ways with Ike and the Snake. I mean, like,
How'd they let that happen?
I had all the chips. All the fucking
So you
chips.
used your 2005 negotiation tricks.
What year was it?
No, I got ICM, but
It was 2015.
it was December 2015.
Right,
yeah.
but they didn't fall for the fact of giving you first place straight.
Right, yes. I did not.
2005, they're like, that makes sense. You can have first.
I probably could have negotiated a little bit more because it was 4:30 in the morning, but I equally wanted to be out of there as much as humanly possible. And at the time, I didn't know too much, and Ike was all in every fucking hand. He just had like 12 big blinds, and he just kept looking at the clock to randomize, and then we go, I'm all in. And I never had king queen.
Yeah, it's funny because if you got like only ICM value,
You couldn't trick him into giving you first place prize like you did in Niagara.
Oh, Lamana.
What?
I said this like 30 seconds ago.
I was thinking about it and wasn't listening.
It's all right, buddy.
He was thinking, they're eating the dogs.
You're about to have your moment because we're going to shift
You
into
have to give your moments coming,
fucking
Brian.
wheelhouse. Don't even worry about
He
it.
hasn't been listening for the past 30 minutes just to wait for the dog segment. He's like,
You guys
I'm in.
You guys are aware. He told us this morning that he has not read the last 1,985 messages that we have put in the chat.
That's
Not
facts.
the podcast chat. It's a separate chat where you guys just blab about whatever. I have to mute it or I can't.
7 fucking days, Tortoise.
Right, 7 days.
Somebody could have died.
Listen, 2,000 messages. Right? Imagine 2,000 messages over a week, and you're trying to be on your phone, but you can't because it just keeps going nonstop. So I mute the shit.
You got to keep up, man.
I know because I live this life.
You're such.
There's nothing in there that I care about either. No offense, guys.
You could have heard about the air quality sooner, man.
I could have. All I had to do was open my door.
You're such a fucking boomer.
He's grown up to be the thing he hates the
Such
most.
a boomer.
The best part about it is like when he sends like memes to the podcast chat, like 3 days later after we've already seen
Probably.
it.
Yeah, probably already been in there.
I really do appreciate that he tries to contribute.
Yes.
You know, every now and again he's a little bored, he's taking a shit, and he's like, I'm going to send this reel to the
It's part of the
chat.
boomer chart.
And it's always exactly what you expect it to be. It's like some dumb fucking dad joke.
I send a lot of reels to because there's another group on Instagram. We have so many fucking group chats.
Well,
Unbelievable.
It'd be miserable to
added 2 more
take
this week.
links from Instagram and send them to a WhatsApp
Yeah,
group.
that's true.
Come on,
It's
we're just
more
efficient,
technology,
man.
yeah.
You know, catch up.
Right.
It's kind of nice, you know, because we'll be ahead of the curve or on time with the curve, and then Brian will swoop in a few days later with the exact same things that we've already put in.
I know.
It's like okay, like we can use this as an asset now.
Yeah.
Like he's caught up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the meme that probably I got was too late to where it was like it's like I don't watch TikTok reels. I wait 2 weeks later to see him on Instagram like an adult.
It is true. None of us are on TikTok.
No.
If we were on TikTok, we would be more up to date.
Please, I keep me out of it.
Lamana just jumps in the group after like a week of having it muted. What's up, guys? Very demure, very mindful.
Yeah, we're like, man, we hated this meme trend.
Shout out to Efro. Sorry, Berkey's the admin in the group chat, so
That's
it's
not
drawing
true.
thin, bro.
Maybe we should just start a meme WhatsApp group for the podcast audience.
Oh my
That
god.
makes it great.
Yeah, let's start another group chat.
That would get canceled so fucking fast.
Yeah. Oh man.
Do you know how many missed
No,
messages
you-
Brian's gonna have?
Yeah. You send those to me private.
Right. Oh man. All right. So the desert's on fire. Our pets' heads are falling off. We got no jobs. We got no money. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Where's the pip cam when we need it most? You know.
I know.
We brought Pip into the office today to protect her from the big bad man.
The Haitians, migrants in Ohio.
Of course, this is happening in Ohio, by the way.
Right, of course.
Like, where else?
It's not happening in Ohio. That's why they said it's happening.
But if you were going to pick a place where they might be eating cats,
Right.
it would probably be Ohio.
That's Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Run,
man,
Chauncey,
it's
run.
so good. You got to run away.
The internet is on fire today.
I mean,
Honestly, tell me. Okay, so I didn't make them, but like Conrad and Landon happened to be in the living room when I was watching the debate, so they finally got their first glimpse of it. Tell me it's not as fucking entertaining as watching sports.
No, this is better.
yeah.
This is better. 'Cause
It's
this
so
is not
good.
what you expect. Like,
I mean, it's entertaining to me because like it's hard for me to take it seriously.
yeah, it's like this wasn't what
Listen.
we signed up for.
I treated this thing exactly like a sporting event. I cracked a beer open at 5 o'clock, was watching the pregame, like listening to all that analysis beforehand.
I'm like playing-
watched the postgame.
I'm like playing in the app game, texting Marcus saying, "Hey, the game's pretty good. You should join." He goes, "I can't. I'm watching the debate. Maybe afterwards."
It was honestly, it was fucking amazing. It was reality.
It did not
TV.
disappoint.
It's like it's literally
is,
reality
right,
TV.
exactly.
It's like it's absurd.
It's
Nobody said anything about any policy or anything they want to do. They just said they had concept and plans, and
I mean,
I don't know. It was great.
Obviously, like what you're saying is relatively true. Like they're not trying necessarily to really stand on business when they're up there. It's more so they're trying
Only
to
against
appeal.
each other.
Not even, right? Like, yeah, personal attacks, of course, but like everything that's being done. And Brian and I went to the Clinton-Trump debate.
Yeah,
here,
the one
here
was in Vegas,
Did you really?
2016.
That
Yeah.
was fucking fire, dude.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Like, you
Yeah.
want to go back and watch
that was
something
fun.
that would just like get you really fired. It was so good.
But like,
I mean,
why?
because it was just ad hominem attacks the
Right.
entire fucking time. Like he's calling her crooked Hillary mid fucking debate, and like,
And that was
he's calling him the orange man. Like,
Right. Like
it's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, and back then, they changed the format a little bit now, where when you're speaking, the other person's mic is turned
So
off.
good. So
And-
necessary.
Right, it is necessary because they would just talk over each other nonstop back then.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so
I guess-
I think the actual like the goal of it, like what you were talking about, like what's the goal of the debate, and it's different for each one, right? Like for her, like there's still a lot of people that don't know a lot about her, so like her goal was to be like, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for, and which I think she did pretty good job of. And then his goal was to be like, I know you think I'm this crazy deranged idiot, and I'm going to prove that I'm not. And he failed miserably.
well,
I don't know. Like,
I would push back a little bit on both of those.
I think her best plan going in would to be bash him, honestly.
No, well, I mean that's low hanging fruit.
She was her job.
I thought she was very measured
to bait him into being a lunatic.
Yeah.
and it worked very well.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Like, look, I don't think she like
Once you start with the crowd sizes, he lost his mind.
right.
She's like, they're leaving your rallies. They're not leaving my rallies.
That's what makes this such a fucking meme.
I guess that's what I'm getting
Like,
at.
if you
I don't
watch
know-
it-
biggest crowd sizes.
Go ahead.
Like I don't know anything else in politics besides people just like trying to dunk on each other and like make jokes.
Right. Yes.
You know,
it
like,
turned into a high school
Yeah.
debate format
Yeah.
where nobody knew the rules.
Like whatever when you're talking about like when it was better and people weren't doing that as much. Like I was 8. You know, it's like everyone that's like my age now just sees these things as like memes on TikTok.
Right. Well, that's
not serious.
20 years ago, the world was different. The internet was different. We live in this very short, clippy, viral world where like that's what you want, right? It's they're eating the dogs. You're just gonna hear that like from now till the end of the November.
Well, that's
what you're trying to avoid, or what you're trying to invoke from somebody else.
But that's also a big reflection of Trump, right? Like he's run the 3 last election cycles, and he truly is a walking soundbite.
Right.
The man only speaks in sound bites.
Right.
And a lot of them do convert to memes. I mean, like, for decades. For decades, we were talking about like how Saturday Night Live would treat all this stuff, and they would turn it into not even highbrow comedy, but like well-developed skits and things. Now it's just randoms on the internet tweeting 20 seconds after. Like my timeline was full, just full of shit like this. And the thing is that
This is a good one.
Where I was trying to go with is, I don't know that Kamala was really Kamala, whatever. I don't know that she was really pressing very many issues. It seemed like her main objective was to make him look bad, which doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and to really appeal to the emotion of women. There was a lot of like spinning of, I can't remember what question she was asked, but it was a very direct one. And she said, well, in high school, I had a friend who was raped, and I was just like so jarred by it. I was like, hold on a second.
So, well, the thing was like one of the biggest issues is abortion, right? And,
Correct.
And you need to win like suburban women, and it's a big issue, like, you know, outside of Philadelphia and these small pockets of, you know,
Middle America,
yeah. Wherever you want to call it, the blue wall, and you need to win those. It's the race is so like razor thin right now that you need like a few little things. So that's why she went into that.
I get it. It was like the only real policy that she was standing on, and it makes a lot of sense. It just became an undercurrent to like every single answer, right? So it's, if you're watching with a trained, not even a trained eye, but if you're paying close attention, like you see what's going on, and he was going very much the other way. His undercurrent was the immigration, and just pressing really, really, really hard on how you know, basically being very hyperbolic about how Biden has opened the borders, and now there's Haitians in Ohio who are eating our pets. And it's like that clip. I think we have the clip. Like, this is just going to be a soundbite for decades. They're going to meme this. Like, our kids are going to fucking meme this. You know how like Teddy Roosevelt is quoted as like, speak softly but carry a big stick. And you know, there are other presidents like JFK and others that have like these,
ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
These quotes will live on in infamy, right? So will they're eating our pets.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's in Springfield. They're eating the dogs. The people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Let's let it run through again.
I just want to know what Kamala's in her head. What is she thinking? Like, she's just like happening. First, she's just like, this is insane. And then she's like, I'm just let him cook.
No, it's,
just let him go.
Anybody who's on that stage,
she couldn't even speak because her mic was muted. But why would you?
She said this is unbelievable. You heard her.
Well, yeah, she did say this is unbelievable.
Like,
then she's just like, I'm just gonna let him go because he's just digging his own grave.
But what makes this so hilarious and so incredible is that it's so Trump in the sense that he gets fed something second-handedly, third-handedly.
I read that.
You know, whatever
they're saying,
and he just takes it as pure fact and then brings it straight to the debate stage.
Right. God, I didn't even hear this part about him saying that they were aborting born children.
Yeah.
And
people say that, like, you know, like the people on Trump's side are like saying this debate was rigged and it was 3-1 because they were fact checking him but not fact checking her, which they should have fact checked her probably on a few things that she said. But like, you know, she wasn't saying things that were so ridiculous that the moderators felt like they had to step in and be like, they're not like executing babies after they're born, but people aren't eating dogs in like Ohio, right?
They had a live fact checker on NBC News. I think it was like 33-1 though.
During the thing,
yeah,
but that's also that's a liberal leaning,
right? It could be, it could be biased too.
I feel like the more,
but like he historically always lies way more than
the issue is that he exaggerates, right? Like,
we know someone in here that does that.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's a yinzer at heart. Okay. He speaks a little hyperbolic. They're obviously not eating the pets, and they're obviously not aborting 19-year-old children.
That's not what he said yesterday.
Right. That's the issue, is that he exaggerates to the point of twisting the facts to make it sound worse. But it works. Like, I don't think people understand how well that works.
Obviously, if he became president.
No, but like, if you're on the side, if you're pro-life and you are very much dug into the idea that the second conception occurs, that it's a life. Now, every passing week, trimester, whatever, that abortion is even considered becomes that much more egregious to you, right? So there are certainly late-term abortions. Like, it's not like it's not a thing. He is speaking to something that occurs or has occurred in the past, just not to the fucking lengths where he's acting like the child's been on Earth for 3 years.
Yeah, those late term abortions too are they're very specific. It's usually when the health of the mother is at stake, and there's a very good chance that the baby is not going to survive.
I definitely don't want to get into the details of abortion.
Right.
We
can if you want.
Not at all why I brought this up. My point is that when you are on the side of his policy to begin with, his exaggerations to you don't sound that way. Right. They're an exclamation point.
They reinforce what you already believe.
Exactly. They're just an exclamation point because he's taking it to the nth degree.
Right.
He's saying, like, how far can this slippery slope go? And I'm going to exaggerate it to that degree because you won't. And this is like a common bad faith debate tactic. It's like, how could you counter that?
Yeah.
Right?
He is Lloyd Christmas. Like, our pets' heads are falling off. Like, that's what it is.
That's what I mean. It's like there's just no real good rebuttal to that. And it's very similar with Kamala's appeal to emotion, where she's using anecdotal evidence or stories. And like, look, that's what makes these debates so fun to watch, but also such a fucking joke. Like, Ras put out a very good tweet where I don't necessarily agree with him on his stance for, like, which side is better or worse. But he put out a good tweet of, like, if you were watching this to have your mind changed based on policy, you're wasting your goddamn time. Mm-hmm. Like, this is actually turning into an SNL skit before our eyes. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the fucking ride.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that there's a conversation to come from this where you see, a lot of times the VP is called upon to kind of problem solve and put out some fires whenever there's a little out-of-pocket talk, so to speak, on a stage like this. And J.D. Vance was interviewed after the debate by, I think, CNN. We have that clip real quick if you want to roll that one, Guap.
That you yourself have talked about in recent days about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, abducting people's pets and eating them, which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on Twitter. You still told people to keep spreading it. But Trump just amplified it to tens of millions of people who were watching. Why push something that's not true?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Caitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening. So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves when you have a lot of people saying, my pets are being abducted, or geese at the city pond are being abducted and slaughtered right in front of us. This is crazy stuff. And again, whether those exact rumors turn out to be mostly true, somewhat true, whatever the case may be, Caitlin, this town has been ravaged by 20,000 migrants coming in. Healthcare costs are up. Housing costs are up. Communicable diseases like HIV and TB have skyrocketed in this small Ohio town. This is what Kamala Harris's border policies have done. And I think it's interesting, Caitlin, that the media didn't care about the carnage wrought by these policies until we turned it into a meme about cats. And that speaks to the media's failure to care about what's going on in these communities. If we have to meme about it to get the media to care, we're going to keep on doing it because the media should care about what's going on.
I saw you say.
All right. So I actually do think that there is a reasonable discussion to come off of this because I think it's very reflective of what's so terrifying to the intelligent voter is that this is an appeal to xenophobia.
100%.
Right? And the issue off of that is a lot of these swing states are very rural in nature. They're very homogenous. They're very much appealing to the average person who looks just like their neighbor, right? And I know this is true because, like, when Trump was elected the first time around, I went back home and my uncle is like, yeah, he gonna build that wall, get these Mexicans out of here taking our jobs. And
right.
I'm like,
it's just like these racist tropes, right?
Right, but I'm like, we're in PA, man.
I'm like, oh,
you've never seen a Mexican.
Oh, nobody wants Guap's job.
He goes, next door, the Mexicans moved in. I go, they're Puerto Rican, man. It's like
right, right, and they're coming. What they're going to do is they're going to come. They're going to take your jobs. They're going to raise all the prices. They're going to they're riddled with diseases. Like these are like racist tropes that have gone back centuries, really, right?
Yeah.
And they keep just bringing this stuff up, and it's.
Guapo was just trying to say Shevchenko plus 118, man.
And I would like to push back a little bit on the Ras tweet where you said you don't learn anything. I mean, you do learn things. You learned that Trump refused to say he would veto a nationwide anti-abortion bill, right? He can say, yeah, I'm against it. I don't want it, but would you veto it? He wouldn't say that he would. They asked him, "Hey, are you in favor of Ukraine winning this war?" He just said, "I want the war to stop," which is good, right? But he didn't say that he wants Ukraine to win. He just wants it to, who knows, right? Like he didn't really say, And then on Kamala's side, she said like about tax credits that you get if you want a first-time home buyer. So like you do learn policy. Like there's so much noise, Berk. I get it. There's so much noise. But if you're actually listening, there are policies and there are stances that they take. You just have to listen very closely.
One thing that hit me yesterday watching that, it was like, all right, my man said in 24 hours I can have this war done.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just a good person,
it would be over before he even took office.
Sure. If you're a good person, why don't you just do it then?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need anything. Like, if you have such good relationships with X, Y, and Z, why don't you just do it? And then, you know what? Just communicate with other people later.
Yeah. And this is what Berkey said, where he takes things to the extreme.
Right. But I think that cuts both ways. Like, even the policy issues that you're trying to address in this particular instance, maybe you're getting like the way that they fall in line in some regards, but at the end of the day, like they still represent their constituents, right? So it's like a lot of these things aren't just going to fall down to brass tacks of like what Trump would or wouldn't do. He still has checks and balances that he has to appeal to. And I think, to me personally, the bigger issue is something like what we just saw with J.D. Vance doubling down on, where it's like, I wouldn't trust this fucking guy as a problem solver to save my life.
Right.
He's asked to put out a fire, and he just doubles down with like some xenophobic trope.
Yeah, right.
Where it's like, yeah, they're all coming for your jobs. They're all here illegally. They're diseased. They're eating cats. And it's like, look, we're a melting pot as a nation. Like, I completely understand how when you get outside of the coast, it's not exactly super welcoming to minorities. And I can also understand how outside of the coastal cities or elites, if you want to go that route, whenever you get into middle of America, I understand that it's a lot of labor. It's a lot of jobs like this. And now that tech is booming and advancing very rapidly, it's easy to deflect and say like, well, we're out of work because there are more people flooding into this nation than ever, and they're stealing our jobs. It's like, you want to know where, and granted, like,
AI is stealing your job.
Yeah, like machines and AI are mostly stealing the labor jobs. And if you're a part of the labor force in that regard, you're going to lose your jobs one way or the other. The truth of the matter is, and this isn't a bad thing, by the way, but if we were to actually qualify like where immigration legally is impacting the job force the most, it's at the higher end jobs. There are a lot of very legal immigrants coming here. They're becoming doctors and lawyers and, all these 6-figure year jobs, and nobody's complaining about it. No one's saying like, God damn it, man, I just can't seem to get through medical school because there are so many people who are flooding in from Asia and India that are just like taking my 6-figure year job. But they're all complaining that they're taking their bricklaying job.
Right.
Well, it's like, I get it, man. I feel for you. And I come from a town where like everybody basically made their way that way.
Right.
But I also watched the mill close down. It just completely collapsed. That had nothing to do with immigration, legal or illegal, right?
Yeah.
It has everything to do with just the advancement of society, and these jobs are going to go by the wayside. Find you a candidate that addresses that, right? Like, and I remember the last 2 campaigns where Trump was. So this time he's spinning it differently with the immigrants, right? Now it's a lot of xenophobic stuff, but before it was about they're going to drive your trucks, right? It was just all about Joe the plumber and the truck drivers, and he just hammered it home that like We have to do things to prop up this industry.
Trade agreements was a big thing because NAFTA, once NAFTA got passed, they said that shipped a lot of like the steel jobs and the manufacturing jobs out of America.
Right. So it's just like it's a common thread that continues to push its way through over and over again. It's just like it's a non-starter, to be truthful, right? Like, are we any better? Like, let's give the best case scenario where it's like he gets to push everything through, builds a fucking wall. Nobody's allowed to get in or out of this country ever again. Are we any better off? Right. It's like maybe near term, right? Because maybe some of our systems are slightly less stressed. Maybe we have slightly fewer homeless people. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you look at the wealth disparity in this country, and I didn't want to go on this rant, so I apologize. But if you look at the wealth disparity in this country, it's very clear. Like, we have a homelessness problem coast to coast. And it's not like it's all minorities. There are, and you can't just shift the conversation to saying, well, because there are people immigrating in, that pushes out our poverty to becoming homelessness. And it's a lack of care, right? It's a lack of care from the top down. Our systems are all failing, and they're all being stressed and strained, not just by one. Like it's ignoring the source and addressing a symptom. You know what I mean? Like, okay, legal immigration is a symptom of the poverty gap and the homelessness problem and all these other things. Like, yes, that's a symptom, but the source, the actual source itself, is the lack of wealth redistribution, the lack of, well-curated systems that still maintain a checks and balance. Like, we're paying into a system that we'll likely never benefit from in Social Security. You know what I mean? And that's one of many. I digress. I don't want to go on and on about this. Go on, please.
As a New Yorker, I accept your trade for a Yinzer.
Oh, I don't actually.
No. We've already got this. You have taken in Donald Trump.
I don't actually think he's a
Yinzer.
No.
Now we're going to take Roberto Clemente. Throw him in the Bronx. You know what? Fuck it. Throw Roberto in the Bronx and we got to trade out.
If you think Pittsburgh would
They love Roberto in the Bronx.
Of course
they do.
No, he's Puerto Rican.
Oh, Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
If you think we would ever, we have a statue of this man right out in front of PNC Park.
It's beautiful.
You guys can have like Mazeroski.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Bill Mazeroski?
Yeah. Yep.
He actually might be from New York.
I would not give him up either.
No, we wouldn't give him, but he actually may be from New York.
He won the World Series.
Yeah.
1960.
Yeah, 1960. All right.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Let's take a quick glimpse at what the community had to say. We have a few tweets to pull from. Jason Strausser says, whether you're on the left or right, I hope we can agree on one thing. These are two incredibly weak candidates. Vote Trump, vote Kamala. I don't care. Please don't pretend like any of them are good. I think that this is kind of a sentiment that I personally echo. And I've felt this way for quite some time, maybe every election post-Obama. It's just, I don't know, man. I feel like we've taken our eye off the ball a little bit. We've missed the mark.
A little bit?
Yeah, maybe a smidge, Guap.
Like, I can
don't
see
know.
like the humor and like all the stuff that people are posting on Twitter. For me, yeah, some of it's funny, but it's also pretty fucking sad that like when you tune into these things, they're not talking about like social economics or social welfare programs or inflation or the economy and like things that you would think that people would actually want to know about. Like that a candidate would get up there and be like, look, I put in the legwork, I've ran the numbers, like I've talked to professionals, I've talked to experts. Instead, we're talking about like golf handicap scores.
Right.
I mean, you realize what you just
like,
said, though, was only one side would even talk about that. Like, that's only a one-sided issue.
I think Guapo's point is that, like,
they don't talk about policies at all,
Yeah, if it were actually a well-structured debate, like the way that high school kids are forced to debate if they're in debate on a debate team, you would just have no choice but to address these types of things. And at one point, it's funny because, like, I think 15, 20 years ago, we also would have said, like, the debates are kind of a bit of a dog and pony show. But they at least they deviated from the points, but at least the points were brought up.
The problem is when you throw Yinzer into a debate, it's just going to be a shit show.
Fucking relax on this Yinzer.
They were like, it was different to like going back to, maybe like when Obama ran or there was always like, there was going to be 3 debates. You knew there was going to be 3 debates.
Right.
They already agreed. They knew networks they were going to be on, and the topics were kind of like this debate's going to be mostly based on economics. And
it'll be like economic policies, social policies.
Right. Then the next debate is going to be focused on foreign affairs and so on. So like you had like these, you had 3 debates where you're going to be able to like talk a lot. Have a lot more questions about a certain topic, right? Where like now is like, well, we're going to get one. We don't know if we're going to get another one. We're going to try to cram everything into one. And when you do that, you don't get anything.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I want to see the VPs debate.
It is good TV.
It's great.
I think they are.
It's great.
Yeah, but when? I'm interested. I just want to listen.
I think it's October 1st.
You're just going to see Tim Walsh fucking roll in on the couch.
I think
with a huge hole in it.
I think October 1st is the VP
I just want to see. I just want to see like how JD Vance handles a situation like that, because like I'm looking at one interview, but that response, if that was the canned response, that's even crazier.
Most of his interviews are like that. That's why you saw his like favorability ratings just plummet.
Yeah, of course.
He came on the scene.
Of course. Mattisau put a tweet out, who is very much pro-Trump. He said she was much more prepared than Trump and controlled the narrative. He did nothing to prosecute her for her policies. ABC News was a disgrace for allowing her to lie, yet fact-checking Trump. I wish that there was a little more follow-up when people say that so confidently.
So the glance 35-1 was stealing for glance.
Oh, yeah. But like I would press Mikey a little bit to hear more about like, well, what was she lying about? And like how egregious? Because I'm sure she did get things wrong.
People brought up the whole when the Charlottesville thing happened, and he said there's good people on both sides. If you listen to the entire thing, like he wasn't directly talking about like the people carrying the torches. He wasn't saying they were good people on both sides, but they never like play the whole thing out. They just play that one soundbite of him saying there's good people on both sides. And so when that gets brought up, the people on the right are like, why won't they just fact check, and why won't they correct, the left when they say this?
That's so small compared to our pets are being eaten.
The one thing that Kamala wasn't fact-checked about that I saw that was wrong, that saying our military isn't in any hot combat zones, which we are, apparently.
I would assume we are.
Yeah, no, we are.
I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I would...
It's just not where...
Yeah, to press me, I would say almost certainly.
Yeah.
Glantz put out a tweet. He said, the goal of a presidential debate is not to answer the questions. The goal is to give voters confidence in your ability to lead. One candidate met that goal tonight. I actually think that's a really good way of summarizing what the debate has turned into, because it really is so much more of just appealing to your base and kind of doing your damnedest either to not look like a fool or to lead the other person into misstepping as much as possible. And I do truly think that's what makes Trump debates so fucking entertaining to watch, because he knows there's landmines and does not give a shit.
No, he steps right on them.
He just doesn't care. He thinks he's immune to them, and it makes it so good for the next day. Like, look, my timeline is very polarizing. I have a lot of left, a lot of right, but today it was just uniformly dunking on Trump. And that's including people like Elon, who, is notably supporting of him, and many others, where it's just like, how could you miss?
Right.
It's an SNL skit.
Exactly. And it's like he just gave you all this material and she gave you none.
I feel like they should do this every week for my enjoyment.
At least every month. I mean, I want a half dozen of these, right? Like,
I'm ready.
The thing is, it'll like, I assume it would get better, because if you watch Trump historically in his other debates, he, like when he debated
there's content
Biden,
now you gotta catch
and
up
even
on.
when he debated Hillary, like his first debate was always the biggest disaster, and then he reined it in the next one, and then the next one. He just got better as he went on.
We were watching in the first 30-40 minutes, I was like, he's pretty under control. Like, he's not saying anything out of pocket. He hasn't done it, and then
it started that way,
and then it just
and then out of the blue, like, he just hits her with they're aborting live babies, and I'm just like, all right,
once she said that his rallies are boring and they're leaving halfway through, that just short-circuited his brain. He couldn't handle it, and he just snapped.
Instantly,
you
like,
see it happening in real time.
Instantly, he's just like, my father was a rich man. I barely inherited any of that money. I turned it into billions and billions of dollars. And I'm just
so
like,
many
oh,
billions of
so many
dollars.
billions. And I looked at Conrad and Landon and I go, here we go.
Yeah,
So
it's happening.
he's not the only person that lost their mind yesterday. Right after Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Kamala, Elon Musk goes and tweets, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life."
That was funny.
I didn't know what that meant.
What the fuck is wrong with this man?
Because at the end she signed if you scroll down, I don't know if you can, but she signed it Taylor Swift childless cat lady, right? Because she is a childless cat lady, right? So that's why.
Maybe the new contract between her and Travis that will leak at some point will include a baby before the divorce.
By Elon?
Do you think that? Do you think
but
that?
like Elon just like loves the memes, you know? It's like a base
sicko.
niche meme.
He does love
he's
the
kind
memes.
of unhinged now.
He's super unhinged.
It's absurd. He just controls the biggest platform, and he just puts most absurd takes out all the time. He's the deranged
It's the
human.
people's platform, man.
Do you think now that the original plan for Taylor and Kelsey was leaked that they'll just deviate the whole other way? It's like
plan. They're in love.
now they're in a contract to have like 2 babies.
they're
4 years married before they ultimately split. Where again, Travis cheated on her. as
Listen,
expected.
they are so adopting these kids from like I don't know,
the Angela
Nigeria or
Jolie.
something.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They're
The
definitely
Brad Pitt,
taking that
Angela
route.
Jolie.
Yeah. She has too much money to make over that time, you know?
Yeah, that could potentially be true. All right, I'm in the muck, and Landon's got to get out of here, so let's get to it.
You can just leave.
All right, I found myself in a bit of a peculiar spot yesterday playing a strange structure. So it is a $150, $300 game with a 200 big blind buy-in. So $60K minimum buy-in, and everybody antes $160. So that's not shown on this replayer, but there is 320, 640 dead in the middle. So the pot itself is like 1,000. We face a cutoff open to $1,000, folds dust in the big blind. His hand's gonna mix. I elected to go with call this time, mainly because I was fucking buried, and and I also think the cutoff opens like way too wide, so I didn't want to just like 3-bet and get a fold. Flop comes 10-8-2, 2 clubs. I have the queen of clubs, check. Face a big bet of slightly less than pot. Again, there's $640 of antes in there. So about 75% pot. We call, which may be a little questionable. We'll see. Hear Landon's opinion. Turn ace of spades. Check. Face again about 80% pot. This actually might be closer to pot. Call again.
7,500.
And then the river is the jack of hearts. We check and face an all in.
All of it. 300%? About 300%? 250? Yeah, 300.
Yeah, the pot itself is probably about 25K at this point.
Well, you're beating ace nine.
There's only 600 more in the pot than it would be, right?
650, yeah. Let me double check the hand history. He might not have jammed the river. He might have just bet. Oh yeah. Yeah, I messed up a little bit on the replayer. So he bet 34,000.
Okay, so like 150.
Yeah, about 150% pot. Felt like an all-in.
Yeah.
And I elected to fold pretty quickly, mainly based off of reads that I have, which I don't really want to get too deeply into, but I just think he pretty much underbluffs in the triple barrel line. But from a theory standpoint, I feel like my hand itself can almost never fold. Not because he value bets worse, which I don't think he really does. I don't think we're going to see an ace 9 value bet here. But maybe more so because I so heavily block the hands that can overbet. I block ace jack, I block ace 10, I block aces, I block king queen, I block queen 9. And I unblock a fair amount of the 9x queen x bluffs. Maybe not so much the Queen X, but
I was gonna say, like, do you think he does this with 9X that he does have?
I mean, if you have a hand like King 9, that's a pretty good triple off.
Yeah.
Because you kind of just fall into the double barrel, especially if it's like King 9 of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good triple off. If you have a hand like Jack 9, I think it's reasonable to turn into a bluff. 10-9 probably doesn't bet the turn.
I mean, it might not even be a bluff.
Jack 9?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? How could I ever have worse?
Why, just calling turn?
I called pot. How the fuck do I have worse than a jack?
Yeah, sure.
I should have like 2 pair plus on the river almost always. My 10x that makes it this far is
pot.
Yeah, I don't even know how much 10x makes it this far. I guess I have like, you know, some King 10 Queen 10 that like maybe King 10 or Queen 10 of diamonds that kind of unblock his barrels. And then I have like, I don't even think I can have like I should have like 5-4 of clubs, but I don't even think I can have it through the call line. I probably just have to
raise
like
turn?
Yeah, I probably have to raise turn. Not that that's even important to his bluffing range, but I think having the Queen of Clubs is nice because I don't think that those hands triple as often. Right?
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you if you had the Queen of Spades here, does it make it an easier call for you because now he's got missed clubs?
No, I think it makes it an easier fold because I think his
Do you
Queen.
understand how I'm like trying to?
Yeah,
okay.
but I think like Queen Jack of Clubs and Queen 9 of Clubs double barrel at a really high frequency,
And then
whereas like the other suits are far less. So they might all bluff the river at the same frequency, although clubs would be the last choice that you would want to make.
clubs would probably not bluff. I looked at a spot kind of recent that was similar. I don't think clubs would bluff here, like Queen Jack of Clubs, but the other suits would.
Yeah, usually, but you're going to have more. Your ratio of a big part of that is because not just because you block clubs, but also because you have a higher frequency of of the club variety.
Yeah,
they triple or they double barrel more often than the other Queen Jack Queen 9s. I think. I would expect him to have like all 9-7 here, but I'm not positive that 9-7. Yeah, 9-7 could overbet. I don't have very much King Queen.
yeah.
I don't have very much Queen 9. I probably only have Queen 9 of Clubs.
Why don't you have very much King Queen? Because you're calling the flop?
I only should have like King Queen with a club or King Queen of Hearts. So I'm pretty restricted, I would assume. And then my King Queen with a single club. And also my King Queen of Hearts might just fold turn versus pot.
Yeah.
I might not have any King Queen. Just King Queen of Clubs exactly.
What would be your threshold of calling turn size wise?
With
King
King
Queen?
Queen?
With King Queen. Say one club.
I assume that it would mix pretty much all options at like B75.
Yeah.
And then I imagine it mixes like call and raise at anything lower. Facing pot, I imagine it only mixes raise and fold, but I don't know off the top of my head. So yeah, I'm basically in the muck with the river decision here. I don't know if my hand qualifies as a call because if this folds, then that means I never have a one pair call. I just won't arrive at river with a better one pair.
Yeah.
And I don't think a hand like Jack 9 makes for a better call by any stretch. I don't think like Ace 9 makes for a better call. Or, you know, going the other way, I don't think like Ace 5 makes for a better call or Ace 6 or anything along those lines. Like, I just am really unsure. My instincts tell me that it probably mixes because he doesn't value bet worse. But I also don't know that like it feels better to call with Jack 10 if we have it, or anything like that. Everything basically seems to come down to his bluffing frequency, which I actually thought was relatively low in game, but I don't know if I can rely on that read, so I am kind of curious what theory would say. What do you guys instinctually think as far as like how you would play river?
I mean, it's kind of tough to fold, I would think. But just considering you have no better one pair hand.
Yeah, and you have all the blocking properties.
Yeah,
like,
you have the queen of clubs.
The
In
fact
your
that you
hand.
have the
I
bluff.
mean, we are facing an overbet, so I don't know how often we have to actually call one pair.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's non-zero for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have some calls in there.
Yeah, Yeah, I think all the one pairs will mix.
It's kind of scary though.
I wouldn't be surprised even if a hand like 10-8 maybe mixes some.
I was gonna say, like, where is the line of indifference?
I mean, it's kind of tough to say. This run out is actually like really unique, in the sense that it kind of the board texture changes multiple times in a very non-discrete way, or sorry, in a very discrete way.
Yeah.
Right, like
it's not like a club hit.
Yeah, the ace is just an overcard, so it doesn't appear like it's that big of a change, but it actually is. Yeah. Like when you face a pot-sized bet on the turn ace, a lot of your one pair hands go down. I mean, you're still going to have to call. I imagine like queen 10, king 10 are actually going to do a fair amount of calling. 10-9 probably a lot less. But then it changes again in the jack falling, which again looks like pretty innocuous, but it actually fills 3 straights that he very easily could be barreling all 3 of.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, it fills them for you as well.
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
That's kind of the point. Is I won't arrive at I would guess without looking that his ratio of straights to mine will probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4-1.
4-1.
I have like one combo of king queen, one combo of queen 9, and then maybe
yeah, I guess
2 combos of 9-7, because some of them are gonna have to raise, flop, or turn. I just don't.
You have 2 combos of queen 9.
No, I don't.
You don't have.
I face pot on the turn.
Yeah. If he has ace jack, is he betting pot on turn?
He could.
Like,
he very well can.
Yeah.
I think it's a good bet.
Well, yeah, because he's expecting him to 3-bet ace queen and ace king, right?
Well, it doesn't even matter. Even if I mean, I obviously don't have ace king and ace queen in full, but that's not even like a real reason. I just have worse to call with. I have 10x, I have 8x, I have worse ace x of clubs. Yeah, I have plenty of hands that they can call that are worse. All right, let's take a look at this and see how this is all going to play out. So obviously I have no leads here. What I use for preflop, by the way, is Wizard has they have these ranges for where are we? So they have these anti-ranges built for coin poker, and they have 4 max and 7 max. So I used the 7 max 200 big blind, even though we're a little bit deeper, with a 3x open, even though he went a little bit larger. They didn't have larger. So
and these are anti ranges we're looking at.
It's specifically the big ante ranges. So the half a big blind ante per person. And if you see like what my range looks like, you can see ace queen's in there a little bit, not really a ton. I never have ace king or ace queen suited.
So you should
all the way down to 10s.
So you should be 3-betting ace queen a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's generally always going to be the case first cutoff. And then you can see how wide he is. He's basically opening a button range from the cut, 46.81%. These ranges are like pretty wild. We were looking last night, and like big blind versus a button open defends 93% of hands.
93%.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is like pretty crazy.
Why even look at your hand?
Well, because you have to 3-bet a quarter of it.
I'm joking.
Sometimes you get 9-3-0.
You also just
that
have
might
to
be in
3-bet.
there.
No, it's not.
I'm joking.
Your jokes are terrible. Such a dad joke.
Leave our dad alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that he's just supposed to range bet for small, which is a byproduct of his range being so wide. Obviously, he didn't choose to do that. So let's see what happens if we put in the 75%. I imagine now he's going to split between bets and checks. Probably something like 60% bet, 40% check, if I had to guess. Okay, 72% bet, 28% check. So a lot of barreling here. You can see that he doesn't have 9-7 off, so that's kind of nice in this instance. 9-7 suited is a pure bet. We look at the queen 9 suited and the queen 9 off. Those are going to be near pure as well. King queen suited, king queen off, again near pure. So these are all going to be firing at a pretty high frequency. Ace jack off, also a hand that's going to blast pretty often. Ace jack suited, much less. Ace king suited, nearly pure. Ace king off, about half the time. So these are basically going to be like all the hands that could potentially be fucking us later. Ace deuce is another good one that can just take us. Ace 8 is pure. So he has a lot of better hands than us by river, of course. Do we float ace queen? Of course, it ends up being pure. So not in the muck on the flop decision. That's good. Turn ace of spade. And
no leads, right?
I don't think so. Can't imagine. Yeah, no leads. So we're going to play pure check here. So it gives him 70% as the best option. I think he went a little bit larger. He went closer to pot. Call it like 80%. It's not really going to change the strategy very much. And again, you can see that the reason why we can't fold turn without even looking at it is that we just value cut him a lot. So ace 3 is now betting pure, ace 5 nearly pure, ace 4 nearly pure, ace 6 is pure, ace 7 is pure, ace 8, ace 9, well ace 8 is two pair. Yeah, but ace 9, ace jack, ace queen itself, all of these hands.
So he's value betting a lot of worse aces.
Of course. And as suspected, he's barreling all of his gut shots. So king queen nearly pure. Let's see, queen 9 mixing, queen 9 mixing. So he has actually queen 9 at a relatively low frequency. Same thing with 9-7, which kind of surprised me. I thought he would blast 9-7. I thought this would be like much closer to pure, but it's only 9-7 of clubs that actually bets. And I suspect that it chooses the 9-7 of clubs because then I can't check raise a hand like 9-7. So when we look at my response here, I wouldn't be surprised if ace queen check raises some of the time.
I was wondering that. Like,
we're getting so much value here.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't have check raised at all. Okay, good. It's a pure call.
Okay. Even though he has all those worse aces just because he does have the.
You just need, you need 2 pair plus. Yeah. Like, look how tight our check raising range is. It's just all 2 pair plus and then 9-7.
Yeah.
And actually 9-7 of clubs is a pure call. It's the other 9-7s that check raise. So when we were asked, or when we were discussing, when we were discussing how many straights I would have on the end, it's going to be even fewer because we never called the other varieties.
Right.
Queen 9 pure fold as suspected. King queen actually pure call regardless. So that kind of surprises me. I do have this.
Matt, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but what is the reasoning behind 9-7 not clubs wanting to raise there?
Because it can't call.
Yeah. Right. So you just check raise the 9-7 off, and then when he jams on you, you're like, whatever, fold. But like, you don't want that to happen when you have.
You still have 8 outs. Like, you still have a fair amount of equity with the hand. You don't want to just pure fold it. It's too good.
Yeah.
But you can't call it because it just doesn't realize its equity very well. Like when you river a 6, you don't get paid necessarily.
Or you don't get to see it.
What do you mean?
Like when turn just comes this card and he bets big.
Brother, we're looking at the turn.
Yes, I understand. When we have 9-7-0 and we call flop.
Yeah.
And then he bets pot on turn.
Guapo wants to know why we check raise it instead of call. Okay. All right. He's back, boys. He's back. Welcome back.
It's okay. We all do it. Just obviously.
I'm back.
He watches
did it today.
He watches the debate with more attention than the fucking in the muck.
I did too.
Did he just say billions? Our pets? Really? So yeah, the 9-7s are going to play a mix of all 3 options, kind of as suspected. Not really doing too much calling. They do call a little bit in the offsuit variety, basically because you just have so many combinations of it that they can't all pure fold. And it looks like when they call, they kind of want to be unblocking clubs because when you have a club, it's a pure raise. But yeah, we raise really, really tight here. It's pretty much only 2 pair plus and then bluffs. So very, very polar, which makes sense. You should have a polar response on such a favorable card for his range. So far, so good. Play call here. River. Oh, sorry. I clicked raise it by accident. Okay, so play call here. River is the jack of hearts. Let's see what this does to the equity graph. I imagine it's going to get, it gets so bad for us. The jack is so fucking bad. Look at this disparity.
Yeah.
Now
it gets there.
Yeah, now I actually feel confident that this is just a check fold. I actually, without looking at the response, I feel
just
really...
from the equity graph.
Yeah. I just don't think that we're going to be calling hands this far down very often.
Yeah.
But look how much ace X we have. So maybe it's not.
Just because you have worse ace X's to
You have a
fold.
lot
To
of ace X
fold.
to fold.
Yeah. And now it just becomes a matter of, well, again, I don't think he's value betting worse. So it becomes a matter of blockers. Ace queen might be a fold. Ace 6 might be a call. I'm not really sure. We're going to find out. So he has 3 betting options. He chose the middle one, which is pretty common. Actually, is all 3 betting. He could jam. Middle one, basically it's a big bet spot. You can see that the 50% pot doesn't really get utilized all that often. So it kind of just wants to go for it here. When we look at the 150% pot size particularly, it's a lot of 2-pair plus.
Yeah.
So again, he's never value betting worse, as we suspected. When you look at his ace X range of bets, it's only 2-pair plus. When you look at worse than that, it's better than that, it's all sets and straights. So he does have king queen, he has queen 9, he has some 9-7, and then his bluffs are basically all just coming from like stone bottom. So I thought he'd be bluffing like a fair amount of his 9x region.
7x.
Yeah, you can see it's not the 9x region at all. King 9's in there as I thought maybe it would be, but that's kind of the only one. Same thing with the queen x region. No real queen x going for it here. Little smidge of queen 7, but again, I think that's more of a byproduct of the 7 than anything else. Queen 3 is kind of like the one, but he has to find a triple off with queen 3, which he may not even bet once, let alone thrice. And then you can see of the offsuit variety, there's really no queen X. So it really does become 9-6 is kind of like the key block. So there is a little bit of 9X, 9-6, 9-5. But again, he has to find 3 bets with them. 9-6 I think is intuitive. 9-5 I don't.
Speaking of intuitive, that queen 3.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very intuitive.
Are you guys trolling me at this point? It has to be a thing, right?
What?
I just talked about it.
I know. Yeah.
I'm
He's just saying it's scary.
Yeah, it's just I don't.
He's saying he's never tripling off with it.
As did I.
That's what
3
Berkey said.
seconds ago.
He said thrice. Remember?
It's okay.
It's fun to not be on that side. I think when I witness it, I'm like, man, that's ridiculous. Even though I do it myself.
This episode.
Yes, I know.
Today.
Oh man, it's incredible. We need Landon back to complete the fucking quadfecta.
Let's talk about the queen 3.
Let's not. Okay, so it looks like the 7x region is where he's mostly pulling from. So I don't think like ace 7, ace 5, ace 4 are going to be doing very much calling. But now I imagine ace queen, ace 9 might be doing a little bit more. So let's see. I imagine we just mix. It's pure. Yeah. So it actually just gets really stubborn with the top pairs here, which is kind of surprising to me. He's not that free to bluff, right? Like, there just aren't that many bluffs coming through. Let's look at the range breakdown really quickly just to see how his straights compare to mine. So, we're actually pretty even on the amount of straights that we have. I said he'd have like 4x more. It's actually both about 5% of our range. Combinatorically, because my range is tighter at this point, it might be 4x. Yeah. So he only has... No, actually it's the opposite. I have way more combos of hands. He's very narrow. So he actually has fewer combos of straights, which is kind of surprising. He has all the sets, I have none. He has about 3x more 2-pair than me. I actually have more top pair than him because he never bets 1 pair here for this size. I also have more like second pairs and stuff like that. I'm kind of surprised that it gets so stubborn here with top pair because he has bluffs, of course, but not that many. I guess it's a byproduct of frequency thing. We just don't have that much ace queen, right? It's very low frequency.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We don't have that much ace 9 or ace 8 off. Even whenever we factor in ace 9 suited, like we have 3 combos of it.
Just out of curiosity, can you put jam?
Facing jam?
Yeah.
I don't know that's going to change too much. I imagine we'll lose the lowers. Oh, no, it actually does start. It starts to mix all the ace X at that point. Except ace 8. Oh, that's 2-pair. So yeah, now it starts to mix at the 1-pair region, the top pair region, and it's pure calling all the 2 pairs. But you can see that even versus jam, it gets sticky with like queen deuce.
It doesn't even pure call the two pairs.
Jack 10.
10 deuce doesn't.
Jack 10, 10 deuce, 10 8. I imagine if we retained it, which we don't, that has to exit earlier. But yeah, it's a tricky spot. More Jack 10 gets to the river than I suspected. So I was a little bit wrong on how I would play the turn. Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10 pretty much are all pure calling, where I would have thought they would start to mix on the turn. They do mix on the river, though, even versus the big bet. Versus the sides that we face, Jack 10 actually becomes a pure continue. Well, sorry, Pip, I poked you in the eye. So yeah, like all two pair plus, all of our top pair down to ace 7. Ace 7 is where we start to mix. Ace 5, ace 4 suited's where we start to mix. So theoretically, probably bad fold. Looks like I'm losing about 10 big blinds here in a 100 big blind pot. Maybe a little bit more. What did he bet on the end? He bet 92 bigs. Yeah, so I'm losing like 5% pot share, I guess. Maybe a little bit less. 3% pot share by folding. It's not a good fold. No. But I think it's probably good with my read if it's correct.
If he's under bluffing.
If he's under bluffing this spot at all, it's probably just fine.
And he's, like you said, he's not value betting worst one pairs.
Yeah, and I think that's why I maybe mispredicted the sim a little bit, is because I expect him to be too loose in the double barrel and too tight in the triple. So, like, you have to correct course at some point. Mm-hmm. And you can either do that by having a small overfold on the turn and then, calling appropriately on the end. Or more correctly, I think, is to just call correctly on the turn and then slightly overfold the river. Yeah. Because that's the action that you're more confident in. Tricky board, though. Tricky board, tricky spot. Yeah. I wish I would just 3-bet pre now. Makes life a lot. Honestly, I'd probably get stacked if I 3-bet pre, though.
I was going to say, yeah, right.
If he had a hand that continued and wasn't a bluff, then I would have... Yeah, I would have bet the flop. I would have 2-E'd the turn and either check jammed or check called river. Right. Which would have been a nightmare. So if you guys would like to go through this rigor and be a part of the In the Muck, hit hashtag Discord in the chat, follow the link, or you can head to @onlyfriends_pod. Give us a follow while you're there. It's the pinned tweet, take you to our Discord channel where we have a forum dedicated to In the Muck. Also, don't forget, this Friday is the Only Friends meetup at the Venetian. I believe it's being titled Berkey and Friends, which I don't even know these two people. Never met them before in my life. 1 p.m. there's going to be cash giveaways. I believe that they're doing some prizes for what's the name of the spot, the Venetian? I keep wanting to say Grand Canyon. That's not right.
No,
Grand Canal.
No, I think you're
the canal shops.
Oh my gosh!
I think you're more toward right.
I know I'm more towards right.
It's like,
you said Grand, and the only thing I know is Grand Lux and Grand Canal.
It's Canyon Ranch Spa. So yeah, I believe they're giving away some certificates, gift cards, something along those lines.
Love
for
to hear it.
Canyon Ranch. $3 an hour comps also going on as a promo at the Venetian right now. So be sure to come out. Lastly, we have an academy coming back in November, back-to-back academies. We're going to be running the regular one November 12th to the 14th, and then we're going to be running the elite immediately afterwards. In order to qualify for the elite, you have to have attended a previous academy. We got a little bit of a commercial for you guys if you want to tune into it. All right, that's November 12th to the 14th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. As you can see, it's a mix between theory in the morning, gameplay in the afternoon on the RFID tables. If you guys are interested to learn more, just head to academy.solve4why.io and be sure to give that a little click. That's going to do it for us today. We're going to be back tomorrow again, 10 a.m., bright and early. I hope you guys join us. Matt Hunt will be in studio for Strat Chat. We're going to have a call-in from Platt and Hanks from the studio down at Poker Go. They're going to give us their Weekend Warrior picks, and I have to tell you, I've seen a little preview. These fucking guys, man.
They're not sharp anymore, huh?
They're testing my patience. They're testing my patience.
First they were sharp, and now they're dull.
I'm back off it. All right, we'll see you guys all in the morning.
Peace.
Later, squad.
Peace.